it is critical that people understand that the authority that we are exercising is not a matter of immigration policy. It is a matter of public health as issued by the CDC to protect the migrants themselves, our personnel, local communities, and the American public.
The Biden administration defending its handling of the influx of Haitian migrants at the southern border. But just today, the top U.S. diplomat in Haiti resigned. Special Envoy Daniel Foote writing in a letter to the Secretary of State, quote, "I will not be associated with the United States' inhumane, counterproductive decision to deport thousands of Haitian refugees and illegal immigrants to Haiti, a country where American officials are confined to secure compounds because of the dangers posed by armed gangs in control of daily life." The White House also announcing today horses will no longer be used by border officials in Del Rio. That change, of course, prompted by the release of what the White House called horrific images showing agents on horseback charging Haitian migrants on the border. Still with us, Robert Gibbs, Michael Steele. Robert, the White House says it's banning horses at the border. Is that, though, just a surface-level fix for what's happening? I mean, this is a mess down there.
It is a mess, Chris, but I think it's an important component of this policy. I mean, those are pictures that are sent around the world, and the images were horrific. They don't belong in 2021, and they didn't belong centuries ago when we might have been more used to unfortunately seeing them. I think, though, the steps they are taking are important. Most importantly, probably, is getting people into shelters, getting them out from underneath a bridge. 15,000 people living in those conditions under a bridge is not what we want to see. And then, quite frankly, we've got to go through the adjudication process of, I would presume, tens of thousands of people, or at least thousands of people, seeking some level of asylum. So, look, there's a whole practical policy that has to get put back together. The asylum process came to basically to a screeching halt under the Trump administration. Our immigration courts are overloaded. It takes months, if not longer, to get a case heard. So there's a lot of practical things that I think this administration has to get moving through in order to deal with this, as well as stemming more people from coming.
This has confounded just border issues in general, immigration, the issues of migrants. Michael Steele, you know this. Republican and Democratic administrations, one after the other after the other. Are we not learning lessons? How are we not getting this right?
Because we are blinded by our self-interest, a very small but very vocal group of anti-immigrant Americans who don't want anyone to come to this country under any circumstances, under any condition. So that has blinded and deafened our will and our efforts. I agree with Robert. The administration has a mess on its hands. It's had one going back to the early days of its inception, and it has not yet still been able to handle it. You've sent the vice president to the border. The president's talked about the border. The secretary has made pronouncements and made claims. And then you have the imagery. You have now, Black people being charged by horses. And, what I'm hearing in neighborhoods are, so they take out the horses when the Black folks show up, And so there's just a lot of bad messaging around what's going on at the border. And it means that, whether this administration can do it now or a future administration is going to have to do it. But at some point, somebody's got to say, this is the policy. This is what we're going to do. And the Congress has got to understand that the role that they play here is going to be very important to the success or failure of whatever that policy is. We have to stop playing politics with this because a lot of people, lives and livelihoods are affected by the decisions that are made, or rather not made, here in Washington.
Yeah, but as you know, they are playing politics with it. They're going to continue to play politics with it. I want to play what Senator Lindsey Graham said on Fox earlier today.
So Maxine Waters is unhappy with the Cowboys. Well, you know who the Cowboys are? They're federal law enforcement officers with a duty to protect the border. and she sees them as the bad guy. So all I can say is what Biden has done is he surrendered the border to drug cartels, coyotes, and human smugglers.
I don't know, Robert Gibbs, how we get past this.
Well, ironic to show a clip from Lindsey Graham, who 3 political lifetimes ago was supportive with the late John McCain and others of comprehensive immigration reform. Lindsey Graham gets some bad polling back in South Carolina a few years ago in running for re-election, and you get what you see on Fox today with Lindsey Graham. There are people that are sitting in Washington and throughout this country that are working each day and probably tonight to figure out a policy solve for the immigration challenges that you mentioned vexed the Obama administration, the Trump administration, and now the Biden administration. And then there's people that are running as fast as they can to Fox to try to do what Lindsey Graham does, which is incense and inflame the situation. But we need, quite frankly, we need 2 parties that are willing to come together and govern the country. We know what people can say on Fox. We need some governing solutions. Again, Lindsey Graham used to be that, but the party that he wanted to be part of and the party that he needed to be part of to get reelected were in violent disagreement with each other. And Lindsey Graham long ago picked the party of politics.
Robert Gibbs, Michael Steele, great to see you both. Thank you for staying up with us. And coming up,